What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon Go Battle League content. Today's video, we're taking a look at the biggest winner of the Dual Destiny update. That's going to be Starmie getting Psywave and Surf. I was so excited, dude. Starmie is one of my favorite Gen 1 Pokemon, aside from Arcanine, as you guys saw yesterday. Starmie was actually one of the Pokemon that was on my first main series game competitive team while I was playing all the way back in Gen 4 with Diamond and Pearl. So Starmie has a special place in my heart, and to see that it got buffed, it was just a massive source of excitement for me. Now, what I decided to do here was, and you've probably seen this team a little bit, we've got Dunsparce, and I've played these games the day that the season dropped, so I know Rise to Occasion made a video with Dunsparce lead, but instead of using his third, we're going to be using Malamar instead, and I think that Malamar is a really fun Pokemon to play in this meta, and honestly, as long as you've got a solid safe swap, the Dunsparce Starmie core is extremely strong and a whole lot of fun. So let's get into these games here and see how Starmie performs in the Great League, even though I know you guys have probably seen like 4 or 5 content creators by now make videos on this thing. It's just a lot of fun, man. It's so worth it. Like I said that even though everyone else has made a video, I'm gonna do one too because I love it that much. So we're gonna have a Galarian Stunfisk lead here in this first game. A little bit of a blast from the past here. I have play against this thing on the entire team. Opponent's gonna go ahead and bait with the Rock Slide. I was really hoping that they would go and full send that Earthquake, but it's a very nice bait from them. But now that we can go into the Malamar after we've landed that move, we can go into the Malamar here and try to put some pressure, but the opponent has a Whimsicott in the back. And since they threw on 6 Fairy Winds, I know this is not going to be a Moonblast, so I can let it go. Go for the Foul Play. 2 Foul Plays along with those Psywaves, honestly, should be enough to do some serious damage to this thing. And so I'm going to get it as I'm going to farm up until I'm as low as I can possibly get, just in case they decide to let this go. I don't want to give the Galarian Stunfisk any farm, but the opponent decides to instead go ahead and shield for switch advantage, which is fine with me here. I'm going to go in with my Dunsparce, and I'm just going to let all these moves go, and I'm just going to trust in Starmie to win this game for me with a shield. That's the whole point, right? So we're going to be going for this farm down, and I, at the last second, decide that since they have 1 HP after that farm down, I'm going to switch in my Psywave Starmie, get the Snipe, and the opponent has an Azumarill in the back, and I want you to watch this matchup. Azumarill has something to be afraid of. Malamar does okay against Azumarill, but all of its moves are resisted. Starmie has Power Gem. Look at that, halfway through this Azumarill already, and we're only 1 charge move in. Play Rough does do quite a bit of damage. Starmie is not the most bulky Pokemon, but I'm going to overfarm as much as I possibly can so that I can land a Surf against the Galarian Stunfisk. I figured an Earthquake was going to do more damage than the Play Rough would, so I'm going to go ahead and go for the Surf now that the Galarian Stunfisk is back in. We're going to take game 1 here. Starmie is a super fun sweeper. Good game. Getting into the next battle here. Let me know, by the way, if the audio issues have been fixed. I think I figured it out. It's hard for me to know, but getting the feedback from you guys is huge. So we're going to get a Malamar safe switch here, and the opponent answers with a Corsola, and that means that we have an opportunity to flip this matchup because we outpace to these foul plays, and we're doing super effective and neutral damage where the opponent is only doing neutral. So we are in a really good position here. I can go up to another foul play. They can probably tank 1 foul play, so they can let this go if they want, but they're now in a farmable range for my Malamar. But I'm going to let this go. I figure we've baited out, hopefully, what is the hardest counter to Starmie here. And I'm going to come back in with the Dunsparce and get this farm down. If the opponent throws a move, so be it. But they're not able to get to a move. Opponent not willing to throw the Nightshade if they have it. This allows us to get almost 2 drill runs to be able to hit this Primeape where it hurts. And the opponent is going to have to throw a close combat to knock us out here. But the problem is that a loaded Primeape here is going to be a problem for my Starmie, so I'm staying in just a bit. I want them to throw some of this energy here, and I'm saying you have to throw the close combat if you want to get rid of me here. So they're going to go ahead, and they're going to go for the close combat. Boom! Taken out. My poor little guy, my poor little Dunsparce, but Starmie's going to come in and shield the Rage Fist here. Unfortunately, they did overfarm perfectly to be able to get to another move. And there's a Jumpluff in the back, and this is that one time where it's like, man, I wish I had Ice Beam because I know that that would be enough to probably either come very close to or get the knockout here. Power Gem's going to do super effective, but it's not quite enough. Starmie's a very attack-weighted Pokemon here, considering all things considered. But Energy Ball, boom, taken out. Poor little Starmie. Good game, though. I needed that shield. I needed to not shield the Rage Fist, and maybe that was how I won the game. But anyway, into the next game, we see another Jumpluff, but on this time it's on the lead, so it's good for us. Opponent's going to switch into a Clodsire, and we're all in on being against Clodsire here. Like, we just have really good play against it. I'm going to come in with my Malamar because it is slightly bulkier, and we'll be able to tank an Earthquake better than my Starmie would. And I'm hoping that maybe, because they have Jumpluff, maybe that they have something in the back that's also going to be maybe a Poison type or a Ground type or something that Starmie can handle. Opponent is going to be able to get us low here. I knew that was a Sludge Bomb, so I didn't need to shield it. And if I can get both shields here and get a farm down with Starmie, I feel like 2 shields up, my Starmie will be able to do very good work, especially since we just saw how much damage the Power Gem did to that Jumpluff. We should be able to do some work here. Now, opponent is going to get this farm down, going to come in with Dunsparce, tank a move here. No reason for us to shield. That's what we have, is Dunsparce is sort of like our damage sponge here, and the opponent comes in with an Arctibax on there in the back here, and they're going to go straight for a move. I'm going to shield this. I'm going to go for the Power Gem. I'm going to overfarm by just a bit. I have to keep in mind that the Clodsire is in back and has a little bit of HP left. Don't know if it has any energy, but Dunsparce does have some HP. We have the shield. We're going to get the Jumpluff to come in here, and the opponent's going to have to take this Power Gem. 2 Power Gems will be enough. I just need to be able to make it to 1, or make it to 2, rather. Power Gem, going to do quite a bit, but I think at this point, I could honestly just let my Dunsparce do this here. So I'm going to go ahead and let this go. It's probably just an Aerial Ace. And if it isn't, then that's even better. Going to go into the Dunsparce here, and I thought that they were only at an Aerial Ace, so that's why I let this go. If I knew that this was an Energy Ball, which it was, I would have definitely shielded that. But the opponent is not going to be able to farm us down, and we're going to have a Drill Run ready to go for the Clodsire, taking it out quite immediately here. Dunsparce taking the game here. Well played. Getting into the next game here. Dunsparce on the lead versus Charjabug. Very nice lead, especially considering that we're weak to Bug and Electric in the back to a degree. Opponent comes in with the Primeape, and I make a mistake here in hindsight. I have never played this matchup out, to be fair, so I needed to see how this matchup went. The Rage Fist is super effective, though, and that's why this is a dangerous matchup, because unfortunately the opponent continuously going for these moves does not allow me to get a farm down or anything of the sort. So basically, I can just go for a Surf, try to get a shield back, but in the future, if I ever have a Primeape safe swap in, I'm going to answer it with my Malamar. Now, opponent thankfully lets us have the switch here, and I'm not able to get to a move. I was really hoping to be able to get off a Power Gem here, but unfortunately for me, not going to be able to get there. Opponent's going to go for energy into the Dunsparce. I'm down a shield. The opponent has me right where they want me, especially because they have a Marowak, and I'm really wishing that I had now come in with my Malamar into the Marowak, or into the Primeape here, because I could have put my Starmie on this Marowak, and we would have been in a very good spot here, especially because I'm pretty sure that Malamar would have been able to get a shield off of something after that matchup with the Primeape. So now we are going to let the opponent just throw the energy here. I'm just hoping that maybe Dunsparce can finish up this game for us against the Charjabug. I'm forced to shield. I would really like a farm down here. I think that's really my only win condition, but the opponent's switch clock is up, and I'm unfortunately not able to switch in time. We do get the foul play in. Nice chip damage here, but Dunsparce is going to have to fully farm down and not have to succumb to the charge moves here. And unfortunately, Malamar is also just too low to really be able to survive any damage here. So we're really going to have to be able to get 2 moves here, which is not, unfortunately, going to happen, as the HP on our Pokemon is just too low for us to be able to get the 2 moves. So well played to the opponent here. I definitely could have, I think I could have won this game or had a much better chance at it if I had made the correct swaps. But again, learning a team, you know, you got to just try some stuff for science sometimes. Executor in the lead in the next game. Opponent is bringing the spice here in the early season, and we're going to stay in a little bit with the Dunsparce here. Look to go for some energy. I mean, this opponent, I didn't realize it until later, but I think this is an underpowered Executor. No, 1459, so that's definitely where it's supposed to be. Rock Slide's going to do a fair amount of damage here into this Executor. The opponent does decide to shield, and then they go into a Vaporeon, and at this point, I'm going to go ahead and, hey, quiet, please. We are going to... Goofy little ones in the background there. We're going to be going for a full farm down with the Starmie here. And we're going to be able to fully Psywave down as my children are absolutely losing their minds in the background. Hey, can you guys keep it down, please? Executor is going to come back in and is going to have to eat the Power Gem here. And we're going to get to another Power Gem here in time before they can get to a move. Opponent has a Ninetales in the back, and we are not. I mean, we're not having a problem here. We are just going to be able to go for a Surf, knock out the Ninetales, and that's going to be a good game. Opponent just kind of bringing what they have here. Nothing wrong with that. Well played to them. Good game. Now, we were able to salvage what could have been a negative set there, thankfully. Now we're going to be going into the next game here with a Feraligatr on the lead, and this is fantastic because this is a non-Shadow Gator, meaning that we can cleanly survive 2 of these Hydro Cannons. Opponent throws on 6 here on alignment, maybe trying to CMP tie us, but we're going to go for the extra rollout, and at this point, that allows us now to go for 2 almost back-to-back drill runs, going for 1 and then the move, 1 and then the move, which is an extremely advantageous thing to be able to do here, which is why I usually try to farm or throw on good timing and prioritize that over throwing right when I get the move, because there are some times where that just works out better. Now, because of the opponent being as low as they are, I can safely switch into my Malamar, and the opponent's going to get out with some energy and go into their Goodra that's in the back. Now, Goodra is going to be able to take this energy, but they're down a shield, and we get to the foul play, and this should just be an Aqua Tail. I think I can let this go. Aqua Tail, not going to be enough here. Malamar hangs on. Going to go for the foul play here as we are just about to run out of HP. I do not want to give the Feraligatr any extra farm than I have to. We're sitting at 1 HP. This is fine. We're even going to get a couple of Psy Waves off as well, and my Dunsparce can still hold on to get to a charge move, but the Ferrothorn's gonna come in, and Ferrothorn kind of core breaks this team. So we're gonna have to see how we are gonna be able to overcome this now. Ferrothorn does wall Starmie entirely here, and the Dunsparce is gonna have to really work hard. I mean, I have to leave this up to Dunsparce. It does live the move, and we're gonna come in with Starmie, get this farm down, but watch this. Just watch this. You would think that this is terrible, but the pacing on Starmie, in addition to the nice DPE, that damage per energy here, just very efficient move and Surf. I need to get this thing down to drill run range, and we are going to be able to win this game if we can. The opponent can never hold 2 moves because they basically need to shield the Surf or they're going to get farmed down potentially. And though they're going to have to shield this here. Now, they could have tried to no-shield this, but look, they're already within Surf range, and now they're definitely within range of this drill run knocking out. So we're going to be able to pop right in with the Dunsparce immediately and take a game that I thought I was certainly going to lose just because Starmie is just so good. Good game, well played to the opponent. Getting into the next game, Dunsparce is on the lead against the Golbat. Very, very nice lead. We have really strong fast move pressure into this thing all over the board. Opponent staying in to potentially throw what could be a Poison Fang, but they do the exact same thing here as the opponent did in the previous game, and they're going to be throwing the Poison Fang right away. So that really allows us to put a lot of pressure on the opponent by going for 1 move and then the Rock Slide, 1 move and then the Rock Slide. And I thought about maybe pivoting out, but I don't want to have to suffer a Poison Fang and then be locked into a matchup. So I'm going to go for the next Rock Slide. Opponent just lets it go, and they have a normal type. I'm assuming it's probably like Licky Licky Dunsparce, and it does end up being the Dunsparce. The opponent has the Dugong in the back as well. So this is looking like a pretty good win here already, just because Malamar is so strong into the remainder of these Pokemon with that foul play, and Starmie can handle a Dunsparce. Dunsparce itself is still pretty healthy. And so one of the mistakes that the opponent definitely made here was they were core broken by the Dugong, by my Dunsparce having Golbat and Dugong. But the biggest mistake the opponent made here was not making a swap at any point to try to get me to switch as well. Now they've basically lost their answer to whatever I might have had in the back, right? The Golbat has Shadow Ball, and that could do a lot of damage to Starmie. And I do understand that, you know, my Psy Wave fast moves probably would have ripped the Golbat into shreds. So thank you, sweetie. What just brought me a freaking Crunch Bar, dude? Goated Wife. Absolutely wife of the year. Hello, thank you. Oh, yes. Oh, we're going to eat this live on the video right into the Crunch Bars are the best, dude. Oh, yes. Malamar's taking this game, boys and girls. Superpower for the win. Boom. Not quite. Haha, I lied. Starmie's going to finish the game off for us. Good game. Well played. All right, next game. Let's munch on this crunch. Dunsparce into Azumarill. Not a great matchup for the Azumarill here. I would much rather have my Starmie on this. We're going to go throw a drill run when the opponent gets to their play rough, so we can try and absorb the play rough and then come in with Malamar after doing some chip damage. Malamar does not have a good matchup into Azumarill, but when the opponent has taken some chip damage like this and they decide maybe not to switch out, this is going to be a very good situation for us. But I decide instead to get into my Starmie as my safe switch here, and the opponent's staying in. I don't know if they're core broken or if they're just trying to do some chip damage first, but I'm going to throw this Power Gem right before they would get off a play rough. And so we have some energy residual here. We can go for the Power Gem into the Goodra. Goodra is taking a lot of damage from the Psy Waves and decides to let that go. We could win the race to the farm down here, but instead I'm going to let this go, and I'm going to trust my Malamar. Now that the Azumarill is incredibly low, I'm hoping that... I'm going to pause this because I want to be able to explain this right, because this is a little bit on team reading, right? So Azumarill in the lead, you would expect they're strong to dark in the lead, maybe weak in the back to dark. Now the Goodra is a generic sort of safe swap sort of Pokemon, so they might have something in the back that is weak to my Malamar, and I'm hoping for that to be the case. So that's why I decided not to go for a switch here. I just said I'm going to get this energy on my Dunsparce, and I'm going to let Malamar finish the game because the Azumarill is so low that Malamar can easily handle it at this point. I do have to save a shield to be able to take shield a player off on the Azumarill if I have to. But opponent's going to go for that Aqua Tail. They're going to go down, and in comes the Azumarill. And since they're throwing this energy, also I'm not sure why I get denied there because they came in, and I don't know why I get one turn lag. But the opponent has an Alolan Sandslash in the back. So we just need to be able to land a superpower here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the first move go. They didn't even bother going up to the drill run. So I know this is an Ice Punch. It's a non-shadow, and I think that at this point, I can just shield everything, go for the foul play here, and even a foul play would be enough to put this thing into Psy-Wave range, I believe. It might not be. It's close enough, though. We're going to go for the foul play. They have to respect this because the opponent lets one of these moves go. They pretty much end up risking losing the game if I decide to go for any superpowers here. So I'm going to save the superpower for last. We get both shields. I'm just going to be very cautious of the opponent making an attempt to catch a move, which I think is probably going to happen given that the switch clock is up. It just seems like one of those things that makes sense. So I'm going to overfarm. Opponent makes a very nice attempt at catching. As soon as I get to my foul play, they go ahead and catch, but we saw it coming. We're going to go for the superpower here and knock out the opponent's Alolan Sandslash, and that's going to be a good game. Well played. All right, and we're getting into the next game here. We're going to have our Dunsparce on the lead versus an Ariados. This is a great lead for the Dunsparce, and Starmie and Malamar have play here if they can get the Psy-Wave action going on here. Opponent immediately switches out into a Malamar. A little bit difficult for me here. The opponent's Malamar does, I have to basically chip it and bring in my own Malamar here. The opponent can hit my Dunsparce with superpowers, they can hit my Starmie with foul plays, and my Starmie's Psy-Waves are double resisted, as are my Malamar. So this is a very awkward position to be in here. I'm just hoping that maybe my Malamar can put us in a position to win this game. I do also realize that if I can find a way to get some farm somewhere on the Starmie, a Power Gem will do a ton of damage. The opponent going for a shield here, going for switch advantage. I'm going to go for the next foul play, see if I can't get the other shield as well, and then just give it to Starmie. Because if Starmie can get some energy somewhere, and if my Starmie can get to a Power Gem against the Ariados, I don't know how much damage it's going to do, but it's probably going to do quite a lot. Super effective damage. Opponent going for that superpower. Probably should have shielded this one, but they come in with a Dunsparce, and I'm unleashing the Starmie. Starmie's going to come in. It's going to have to shield up one of these drill runs. I could let one go if I need to, but I don't want to let one go unless I'm confident that I'll be able to come out of this matchup with energy to be able to hit the Malamar or the opponent's other Pokemon here, as I've completely forgotten what it is already. Ariados, there it is. I want to be able to make sure that I have the energy left over to deal with it. My Dunsparce is still somewhat healthy. I'm not super worried about their fast move pressure at this point. So I'm going to overfarm as much as I can right before they get to their charge move. Throw the Surf, and then regardless of what they come in with, I should be able to get to a charge move here before going down. Opponent is going to wait out the switch clock by a little bit, trying to make sure they can catch a move or something if they need to. And we're going to have them come in with the Ariados, and we're going to get the Power Gem off. Power Gem's going to do a ton of damage. What? Not right now. We're going to get the Power Gem off. The Dunsparce is going to come in and be able to get to the drill run, and that's going to knock out the Malamar and take this game. Well played to the opponent. Very tricky game because of that Malamar, but we're able to take it. And getting into one more game here in this set. Dunsparce into Primeape. Once again, terrible lead for us. We're going to safe switch into that Malamar and try and make some magic happen. Opponent's going to come in with an Electivire. And my goodness, the Spice. But look at how much damage those Psywaves are doing. Now, I don't know whether or not I should try to win switch here. Really, this is a very neutral matchup in the in here for us. I mean, like, remember earlier how we were able to get the energy needed on the Dunsparce to be able to do a lot to the opponent's Primeape. That's kind of what I'm hoping for, and I think they're just going for another Ice Punch here. I'm going to let it go. Hopefully, hopefully we'll be able to make something happen here. I'm going to go for the Foul Play, try to get the other shield off of the opponent, and if I can get the other shield, I'm in a really good spot here to be able to just let my Dunsparce come in, but we get a simultaneous knockout, and now it's going to come down to who brings in what at the very last second. I'm going to bring into the Starmie, and the opponent has an Emolga hit the field, but they switch instead into the Primeape, and I think that may have been a mistake. But with a shield, we could have hit them with a Power Gem. I don't know whether or not that was actually, like, intended. Maybe they weren't sure what to do. But Emolga getting hit with a Power Gem, I don't know if it knocks it out necessarily, but they would have been able to probably get to a move here. I'm going to swap in my Dunsparce here. Save my Starmie, I was hoping they were going to try and throw the Discharge. That's what I was trying to catch, was the Discharge, but they're going to have the Acrobatics. That's going to do a lot of damage. We're going to be able to hit this Rock Slide off. This should be enough to knock out, and that's going to be a good game. Very well played to the opponent. Starmie is an absolute menace, able to core break so many things in this Great League meta. It is a fantastic addition to the meta, and honestly, that's kind of how I feel about this whole update, right? It's been mostly a lot of really good additions. It was small additions, but things that do really well to break up the meta as it currently is and sort of create a new meta in such a sense. But that's going to do it for me for today's video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.